morning, beautiful people. I thought I would do something a little bit different today and show you guys my everyday makeup routine. Coffee. This is my favorite mug ever. Okay, I've got my huge makeup drawer with me and I'm gonna go through step by step what my everyday makeup routine is. I feel like every year that goes by, I'm starting to perfect my everyday makeup more and more, and I'm really loving it. Starting with the NYX Plump Right Back Primer. I absolutely love this primer. It is such a beautiful, beautiful formula. I started using this maybe a month or two ago, and it has not let me down once. Moving on to eyebrows. I have been recently slicking my eyebrows, and I have been loving it. I don't know why I stopped doing it. I like to use this Got2b Glued for brows and edges. I absolutely love this product. I use this product in my hair for my slick backs like today, and I use it on my brows. My brows are kind of due for a trim and a little shaping, so we're just gonna ignore that. I kind of like to just go in a little bit messily because once they're like half dried and we're like basically finished our makeup, I feel like they're nicer to work with because they're kind of tacky. There is nothing better than an oat milk flat white on a cold rainy day. Moving on to my base, I go in with the Emco Beauty Flawless Glow. I absolutely love this product. I've used the Charlotte Tilbury one before and I do like that product a lot. I almost find it a little bit too glittery though, whereas I feel like this one actually isn't as glittery. That's just my experience though. I really love this and it's a lot more affordable than the Charlotte Tilbury one. Okay, now that we look kind of crazy, this is when I like to add a little bit of coverage just to make that perfect base. This is the By Mario Surreal Skin Foundation. I absolutely love this foundation. I did a lot of research on makeup 2 years ago when I was getting married, and this was the foundation that I ended up buying for my wedding, and it was the perfect pick. This foundation held up all day. I cried during my ceremony and my makeup did not budge, and I stand by this as my holy grail foundation. This is very, very pigmented, so I only like to put a small dot on either cheek and then one on my forehead and kind of mix that in with the Flawless Glow. I like to go in with a brush. This is the e.l.f. Ultimate Blending Brush. I love this brush. I bought this only probably a month or two ago, probably 2 months ago, and it is such a beautiful, beautiful brush. So I like to start just where the foundation is and like quickly blend that around my face and then really work the formula into my face, if that makes sense. As you can already see, that is beautiful. Once that's all blended in, as you can see, it really creates a beautiful full coverage glowy base. I am so obsessed with these two products combined. I'm just gonna go with my beauty blender and just give it a once over to really make sure that product is blended seamlessly. This is kind of another new product to me that I've only been using for 2 months. I am quite in love with this formula. This is the Maybelline 30 Hour Concealer. I picked this up maybe a month or two ago. I have absolutely been loving it. I got this in the shade, I think I ripped the sticker off. I'm fairly sure this is like one of the lightest shades. I'm pretty sure it's like 01 or 05. And I really love a really brightening concealer. I really love this formula because it's quite thin, meaning that I can wear it on everyday wear, where I just want a little bit of coverage, or on those full coverage days, I can really build the formula and add that coverage where I need it. I kind of put concealer in a lot of places. I like to start with under my eye. As you can see, it is a very bright concealer. I also use a lot of concealer, so I don't want anyone coming for me in the comments. I use a lot of concealer. I don't know how people use a tiny dot of concealer. That is not me. That is not who I am in my heart. I also do a little line on the edge of my eye to really create that lifted appearance. I then like to do my chin. I like to highlight my chin and then also the creases of my mouth. I do a little bit on my forehead to again highlight those high points. A little bit on the bridge of my nose. And then we're going to do a little bit of reverse contouring. So I'm just going to do a little line right here on my face. This will just really help create that snatch look. I feel like you can already see a difference. I hope no one walks past my house while I'm sitting here drinking coffee like this. Okay, then I like to blend this out with my concealer brush, which is actually the MCO Beauty foundation brush. This is such a beautiful brush, but I don't know who is using this tiny brush for their foundation. That would take me forever. But in saying that, it is the perfect concealer brush. I like to start with all of the outside of my face and then do my eyes last, just so that it can really dry down and have that full coverage effect. As you can see, that's already made such a snatching effect on my face. Okay, and then I like to just start with the outside of my eye and really snatch that upwards. I also like to go over my eyes with my concealer because I feel like that really brightens my whole eye area. Again, I'm very paranoid about my blending, so I like to just go over it with a beauty blender just to make sure everything's really nice and seamless. Time for contour slash bronzer. This is the Off Duty Contour Stick by Mecca. I love this product. This is the shade Deep. This is the brush that I like to use. It is literally so many years old. I have no idea where I got it, but it is just a nice and kind of dense brush, and it has a bit of an angle, so it's really nice to chisel in my cheeks. I always put the product on my brush and work it into my skin that way. I never swipe the product on my face. I feel like that just does more damage than good. I like to start right at the base of my cheek. I just like to start right in the corner, just like right near my ear, and then I can kind of lightly blend it up my face. I like to blend this over the corner of my eye as well, and then I just like to lightly blend it down my cheek. Then I like to grab just a slightly less amount of product and work that into the corners of my forehead. I have quite a big forehead, so I like to really bronze it up so it doesn't look quite as big. Onto the next cheek. I don't really like to contour my nose, but what I will do is I'll take my brush. I won't add any extra product. I'll just use what's left over on the brush and just run it along the side of my nose just to really warm it up a little bit, but not very defined. I tend to get a little bit messy with that product, so I'm just going to take my concealer brush with no added product and just blend this part of my face just to make sure that this is nice and seamless and my bronzer isn't straying from where it should be. Time for blush. I'll either go between the MCO Beauty Bouncy Jelly Tint Cheek and Lip. This is such a beautiful cheek and lip tint. I absolutely love this shade. It's quite a warm pink color, which I love, especially through summer. Or I will use the MCO Beauty Dream Liquid Dewy Blush. This is in the shade Soft Pink, and I really, really love this blush shade. It is such a beautiful color. This is the blush I'm going to use today, and it is very pigmented. I have the exact same style of brush for my blush. I just love this angle, especially to work with the cheeks. It makes it so much easier. I like my blush to really be nice and snatching, if that makes sense. So I start right on this high point of my cheek and I kind of blend it upwards over my eye and just around this whole higher point of my cheek. I'm gonna go with my first spritz of setting spray, which is the MCO Beauty Miracle Flawless Setting Spray. I use a lot of MCO Beauty products. I think that their makeup range is absolutely incredible, especially for the price point. Okay, time for powder. This is the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Powder in the shade Butter 02. Now, to create that really seamless under eye, I like to go in with my Beauty Blender and just make sure that there is no creases. If you haven't noticed, I have very sunken in under eyes, and it is one of my biggest insecurities, if I'm being completely honest. They're sunken in, they're very dark and purple. It's genetic. I like to just go with my Beauty Blender just to make sure that there's no creasing in my wet formulas. I like to take my powder puff. I always press it on the back of my hand just to get off any like extra product that I don't need, and then work that in under my eye. That literally creates such a difference. I like to also set my eyelid, so I always go in with my Beauty Blender just on the inner corner of my eyelid, trying not to pick up any of that pigment from the blush and bronzer that we've got in our eyes. And then again, I like to just set in the inside corner. I'm just going to do the other side. Just going to use a bit of leftover powder on that center of my face. I then like to just take a little fluffy brush and I just take whatever's left over in the lid. I like to use this just to set the rest of my face with powder, and then also just to kind of swipe off any extra powder that's sitting under my eyes or on my eyelids. This is looking beautiful. Love. I have had this blush sitting in my drawer for probably a year and I almost never use it. I have been using it recently and I've been absolutely loving the formula, the shade. I love everything about it. And it is this e.l.f. Duo blush. This is the shade Watermelon and I think it is so sweet. I like to take this little fluffy brush to work in my blush, and this is quite pigmented, so I like to just do very light taps, dust off any extra powder, and again, start at that high point of my cheek and blend from there. As you can see, that just really reinforces that pigment and it's just so beautiful. That makes such a difference. I am someone that loves blush, and so having a really blushed complexion is something I really love. Okay, and then I like to actually go in with this shimmery shade. I've been kind of loving a bit of highlighter lately. I don't know what it is. I think it's fun. I think highlighter might be coming back because I am here for it. I am very light-handed with this, so I just take a little bit and I just like it right on this high point of my cheek. Beautiful. Like, it's quite nice. Just adding a little bit of shimmer goes a long way. I'm gonna go in with my setting spray again, and I like to put a little bit on. I like it set. Fan this down. While that finishes drying, I just like to brush my eyebrows. As you can see, they're a little messed up because we've been doing our makeup. I'm just gonna fluff them and shape them where we kind of want them to sit. Onto eyes. Again, I do not do this for my work days, but on my days off, I have been loving wearing a little bit of eyeshadow. This is the palette that I've been using lately. This is a Revlon eye palette in the color Maverick / Rebel. Interesting. I've had this for years, like it's definitely like out of date, expired, but whatever. And then I like to take this little angled brush. This is such a beautiful brush to work with. I basically like to just take this shade here, this dark shade. I like to just pop this on the outer corner of my eye. I really like that snatched eye look, and I feel like it kind of makes my eyes pop. I just like to work it on my lower lash line and my top lash line, but just on the outer corners. I feel like this really complements my eye shape and my eye color. I'm just gonna start on my top lash line. And that's basically it. I feel like you can see the difference. It's not a lot of product, but it just makes such a difference, especially once we add mascara. I'm gonna do my other eye. That's it. It's not a lot, but I feel like it really does a lot for my eyes. Time for mascara. I actually like to layer my mascaras. I like to go in with the Maybelline Sky High mascara. Everyone knows what this is. This is a great mascara. I think it is just beautiful. It just is such a good formula. Then I like to go in with the L'Oreal Telescopic mascara just because I feel like this really defines my lashes and adds a bit more length to them. I'm just gonna start with my Maybelline. This is actually nearly empty, so that's why I kind of like to layer the two. The difference, man, oh my. Now, when it comes to my lower lash line, I only like to put it again on that outer corner. I feel like it just complements my eyes so much. So I just like to put it just on the outer lash line. I have quite big eyes, so I feel like this really complements them. Okay, and then I'm just gonna go over that with a little bit of the L'Oreal Telescopic, just to add a bit more length to my lashes. Time for my lip combo. I carry this around with me absolutely everywhere I go because it is my favorite holy grail lip combo. Starting with the Laneige Lip Glowy Balm. I absolutely love this lip balm. My friend got this for me as a Christmas present and I'm like probably halfway through it because I use it multiple times a day. I feel like putting a balm on before a lip liner really helps that lip liner go on smoothly and blended. We don't want too much of this on to start just because we want to help our lip liners blend, but we don't want them to just be gone within 2 seconds. Okay, then I go in with 2 lip liners. These are my absolute favorites. Starting with this Savvy by DB Vegan lip liner. I got this not that long ago, and this is in the shade Chestnut, and I absolutely love this. This is such a perfect nudie brown color. We're just going to line our lips with this. Then this lip liner is so old, it is like breaking, it is like all faded, but I'm pretty sure it is Barry M branding in shade Chocolate. Literally all the words are like rubbed off, but I absolutely love this shade. As you can see, it's a very dark brown and I absolutely love it. And I like to just put this on the outer corners of my lips and gently blend that. I'm then gonna go in with this Emco Beauty lip oil. It's like this beautiful pink shade. And that is the lip combo. Perfect mix between a cool chocolate brown and then also a bit more of like a warm berry lip gloss. And that is my everyday makeup look. This look never fails me. I am so obsessed with all the products that I used and the total outcome. I feel like the way I've been doing my makeup really complements my face shape, my features, and really enhances what I look like instead of trying to make me look different, if that makes sense. I feel like in the past year I've really perfected my everyday makeup routine and feel quite confident in doing my makeup, especially if I had a fancy event too. I'm a person that would never pay someone else to do my makeup. I love doing my makeup and I feel confident in the fact that if I got invited to a fancy event, I could do my makeup for the day and be very happy with how it turned out. Well, that's my everyday makeup routine. I hope you guys liked this video. I feel like it was a little bit different. It was a bit more of a sit down chatty video to my regular vlogs, but I really like these videos. So okay, well, I hope you guys liked this little makeup tutorial, and if you did, feel free to let me know in the comments. I really love making these sit down makeup videos. It's so nice to just sit and chat to the camera. So if you want more makeup looks, feel free to let me know. I hope you beautiful people have a lovely day.